This is how you trade Total Soup. This is what you need to trade Total Soups. These are the specific concepts you need to trade Total Soups. What do you need there? Standard deviation, that. What should be your stop loss? This is a full guide on how to trade Total Soup. And this is primarily not from me. This is from Romeo TPT himself. All credits go to him. This is how you trade Romeo. I'll read out the tweet to you guys. You know, so you guys show you guys proof, so I don't mislead you guys. So he says there's multiple ways. Total Soups occur at rejection blocks and highs and lows, but the highest probability ones will come from a obvious high / low that looks like a stop, looks like a safe stop loss to the uninformed. But that means, so the obvious high and low is where most traders put their stop loss there. So that obvious high and low is a good stop loss. So that good stop loss to the uninformed is where the Total Soup is going to be. This is all it says. The best ones are at the obvious highs and lows, not the rejection block. The only way is that the rejection block is if the rejection block is confirmed by a number 1, which I'll tell you guys about that in today's video. The rejection block Total Soup entry as well, because as you guys know, rejection block are a Total Soup. And now that's all I guys said. This is something I have been waiting to confirm with you. Price only needs to take out the bodies, not the necessarily high or low of the wick to consider. Is it a Total Soup? Is that correct? I have that in my notes, but want to ask you, just he asked Romeo himself. So that's all by him. And I didn't want to talk about this Romeo Total Soup shit, but you know, it's a really good concept. It's a very simple concept, as well. It's advanced. You may get fucked up a lot, but if you can master this, you don't even need to, because this one doesn't need to wait for confirmation. And all he says, rejection blocks are a Total Soup. They're a form of a Total Soup, and the best ones are a obvious high and a low, where the uninformed money have their stop loss at. And that's quote number 1, tweet number 1, that talks about Total Soup. And here, the whole summary of this is that rejection blocks are a Total Soup. The only time this right here, because I backed this as well, because my trades, as you can see, my recent trade was a rejection block entry. Although it yielded in a loss, I had the wrong entry. I'll actually show you guys as well that there was another entry for a Total Soup entry, which I'll tell you guys, which was from a rejection block Total Soup entry, which you guys could have entered out as well. Which, you know, you guys could have used that as an advantage, because a rejection block is overall a imbalance that has to get filled. And what is an imbalance? An imbalance is a lower time frame Total Soup. So for ViGap in the higher time frame, in the lower time frame, it's just a lower time frame Total Soup on that, a higher time frame for ViGap, right? As you guys know, same to rejection block. Rejection blocks are imbalances that needs to get refilled in specific logical ways, right? So that's all that means, which I'll show you guys proves. This is a full guide. It's a full course, full guide, free, no paid. You're wondering, well, I saw you stream, you never took the trade. This is like a graphical representation of what I'm talking about. This I'll show you guys one of examples, and how I'll show you guys possibly if I take a setup for it. If I take a setup to it, I'll show you guys in live market data and me executing that Total Soup, because it's really difficult. But as you guys know, we're around here to execute that shit as well. But I will show you guys in a live data market if I get a chance to, and tomorrow or whatever day, if there's a obvious Total Soup entry that we can have with these specific criterias. And yeah. Usually I enter the only way I enter my Total Soups are from a rejection block. The only time I enter my Total Soups are from a rejection block. Once again, why? Because a rejection block will confirm a Total Soup. So the only time you want to enter the rejection block entry, which is a Total Soup entry, is when there's a 1-1 confirmation. So I'll show you guys an example of that too. Show you guys full examples, a full course. Now let me go to the second tweet, which is right over here. So previous 3 days highs and lows are very important. The previous 20 days highs and lows are very important. Previous weeks highs and lows are very important. Previous days highs and lows are very important for Total Soups. Previous session highs and lows are very important for Total Soup. And now let me go show you guys the other tweet here, which is right over here. The highest probability false breakout, which is a Total Soup, occurs at the previous week high, previous week low, occur in the 3-drive formation, fake double top, then the 3rd drive. What does it mean by the occur in 3-drive formation? What does it mean by that? As you guys know, our valid high, valid low rule is a 3-drive formation. So the CRT high right over here doesn't have a legit high here. So the 4 CRT high, but it's 4 Pacific candle high does not have a legit high. So we're looking for a legit high to get formed. So I got formed, it got purged. Now we're looking for a Pacific time. Right, so now looking for a Pacific time here. And eventually the Pacific time came around. But wondering, well, okay, why don't you enter here? Put your stop loss right over here, would have been stopped out. No, for a Total Soup, it needs to soup out a high first, then here. So now we got the right time, which we first didn't have. This is the 3-drive pattern, by the way. Drive number 1, drive number 2, drive number 3, and drive number 4. Probably wondering, well, now this is a 4-drive pattern. It could go for a very long time. Why this one failed? Simply because of the time, right? The best way to avoid those the best way to avoid a 3-drive pattern is by, 3-drive pattern, Total Soup pattern trade is by simply having the time in there, right? And let me go read it out a little further before I go to the chart. Because the previous week high, previous week low, previous day high, previous day low occurs in 3-drive formation, fake double top, and then 3-drive occur within a kill zone. So it must occur within the kill zone. For a New York session, it would be 6 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and occur at the distribution phase of the accumulation manipulation cycle. So accumulation manipulation cycle at the distribution phase, there's usually a quick open Total Soup expansion, right? Quick is an open high low close concept. And these are all derived around all of the open high low close, open low high close concept. Because when you take a trade, you usually want to open low, key level to Total Soup, long it up, close. Let's say open, go above the opening price, tap a key level size Total Soup, then go lower, then close. So as simple as that. So now, what I mean by the fake the 3-drive pattern, which is our valid high, valid low rule. Which this is how you avoid the 3-drive pattern, is by simply following my rule. Which I back to say this rule, you can go back to yourself. Is we're looking at the Pacific high and Pacific low, which is the 4-hour CRT high, 4-hour low of the Pacific session you're trading. I'm trading the London session. I'm looking at the London session, right? So this is London session high of the 4-hour candle, because 159.159. This 1 a.m. candle high does not have a legit high. So I'm looking for something to get purged. And I'm looking for a legit high to get formed. And I'm looking for the legit high to get Total Soup at a Pacific time. So we got a high Total Soup, we got a legit high here, but the high didn't get soup at a Pacific time here, right? You got soup, but not between 6 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. And for a Total Soup, you must always soup or type of resistance block. But the obvious ones are, the highs and lows. The only time you want to take a resistance block if the model wanted to confirm. In this case, if you take the model 1 confirmation, if you take the resistance block Total Soup, you would have face a loss. Why? Because the model 1 never confirmed there, right? So we got a high, first drive. People, this is the first drive, right? This is not the first drive because, market never went below that. So this is the first drive. People shut it down because the first are high. First drive, people shut it down. Second drive, people shut it down. The third drive, right over here, then went down lower. So you can see that at the third drive, market went down lower. So that's how you avoid that's how you avoid the 3-drive pattern. Simply by following my rule, which is the valid high, valid low. This can be only a bullish bearish candle or bearish bullish candle. So I've already made a video on that. You could go watch that video. I'm not gonna fully explain that. So you can see right over here at the 1 a.m. high, we don't have a legit high, and the soup must have between 6 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. We don't have a legit high here. Market goes up. Now market forms a legit high after purging this high. So now look at this high to get purged, but at the right time. If it doesn't get purged at the right time for a Total Soup entry, we must wait for the right time to get come around, which is between 6 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. And we're looking for a high to get purged. Then you could shut it down with a Total Soup entry. So now what we got here is we don't have the right time to purge. So now waiting for 6 a.m. to come around. 6 a.m. came around. we can only take the resistance block total soup entry if the model 1 is confirmed. The model 1 is not confirmed, so we are looking to still take the total soup entry. So now this is literally a three drive high here. Now a total soup will only occur at the CRT high, CRT low, right? And not necessarily CRT low. It will only occur at highs and lows. The obvious highs and lows is right over here. So first people short it down here, second drive, and the third drive. So now after this occurred, it says now we look into, unless you're a total soup trader, you're gonna wait for this high to get soup, then you're shorting it down. So now you wait to get this high to get soup. All you're doing here after this high to get soup, you are having a, you could put your entry. I usually say put your entry a little above this. Let's just say you enter somewhere around here, 9.3, right? So you just go a lot of it, because usually when it soups it out, you usually want the market to go up a little higher than the high, because you want to take out liquidity. And eventually you have your stop loss. This is second. This is how you trade total soup. That's step one by probabilities, and one of the best ones are the three drive pattern. I have shown you guys multiple times where the three drive pattern happened, and I'll show you guys a chart live trade. I'll show you guys my chart as well where that happened, and these are the trades I actually took. I didn't take the actual total soup entry, but the confirmation of it. But right over here, you see you just put a little bit above it. You can put however you want, however you feel, but your stop loss must be 10 pips. There's a step 2, which you must always have a 10 pip stop loss or above. They usually say to put at 10 pips, right? The CBDR equals 10 pips, right? So now by step 2, having a 10 pip stop loss, right? Which is a CBDR. Now the CBDR comes in play here, the standard deviation. So now what you're gonna do is go to that specific day you're trading. You're gonna go mark the 5 p.m. candle. This is a 5 p.m. candle. This is a CBDR range. You're gonna CBDR high, CBDR low. You're gonna do a standard deviation to the upside and to the downside. This is on bearish here, and I'm gonna mark it to the upside. Now, what does CBDR tell you? That CBDR tells you that this is where at -2, -2.5, at -4 is where it tells you, okay, this is where high likely the high of the day is going to be made. This is where high likely the low of the day is going to be made. So now the high of the day is right over here. How to be made right over here, which the high of the day was here, right? You can see how the day was in this specific day. That was the high of the Pacific day at the -2, -2.5, the CBDR range standard deviation. Now once you have that, so now you're gonna mark up CBDR range, up, high, low. And the one you mark out is the CBDR one, which is the 5 p.m. candle. And usually it goes like this: CBDR equals 10 pips. So usually they usually tell you to put a stop loss. Romeo himself says you either put a stop loss at the 25% of the range. Your stop loss is the 25% of the range you're trading, or your stop loss is 10 pips of the CBDR. So you first must have the CBDR there. You must be at the -2, -2.5. Then put a 10 pip stop loss. That's the next step. Now the next step comes around. The next step is we go back to the tweets and show you guys the next step here. The next step is, okay, I think that's it. And the next step is being obviously with the order flow. You don't have to be the order flow all the time, but if you're very advanced, you don't really have to. But you just gotta be smart. You just gotta know what you're doing here. And the next one is putting your stop loss at a key levels, such and such, which you don't really have to do it. But your entry is what that matters the most. Your entry is that matters the most. So now all you're gonna do is, that's just as simple as that. You first must, no, that's not that simple, but you must have the market narrative, market context, the high temperature on liquidity. On this specific day, if I go back here, my drawn liquidity was overall bearish. On the higher time frame, we had a daily premium ERL to discount IRL, right? We have a daily CR to the downside, another daily CR to the downside as well. We as well had a SMT, these highs. We're selling above the weekly opening price. So we had a higher to bearish order flow. Right now, higher to bearish order flow. What I mean by that is higher to bearish drawn liquidity. So higher to we're bearish. So that's what it's worked out. So I had logic there, I had narrative there, I have context there. The context, lower time frame is, daily range. We're in premium. We had SMT with the daily range high. Range high got purchased on the range low. We had a New York reversal. You can see how we're making context. So that's the next step you must always have. Actually, that's the first step. Eventually, the next step or the first couple steps I told you. Now, the best way, the only time I specifically trade this Total Soup model is not random highs, random lows because they're too hard. The best ones are at the 3-drive pattern. This is a drive number 1, drive number 2. Now, as you guys know, you can only trade a Total Soup before at a sweep of a high or low. You'll have a sweep of this high. Now, are you looking to put an entry there a little bit above it? Your entry's gonna be a little above it, but you're gonna raise the up on the 10 pips because if it's gonna sweep with this high, you need to go a little up higher than that to accumulate new orders, right? To sweep out more traders. Or the stop was right around here. So now, eventually, the entry here, a little above the Total Soup, stop loss 10 pips. You have the 3-drive pattern, which you must always have. Yeah, if you don't have the 3-drive pattern, do not trade it, or you could trade at the rejection block Total Soup entry, which I'll tell you guys about as well. The rejection block Total Soup entry here. The rejection block is a imbalance, and a imbalance is a higher time imbalance is a lower time for Total Soup, right? Taps it, swoops at the high, your entry is right above it, 10 pip stop loss. Do you always have to go 10 pip stop loss? Usually, sometimes even goes with a 7 pip stop loss. You sometimes go to 10 pip stop loss. You sometimes go to 15 pip stop loss. But I always say 10 pip or above, where I go based on 10 pips or usually the most. But the only time I go for a 10 pip stop loss is if there's CBDR. So for a 10 pip stop loss, you must always have a CBDR, and you must always have it there, by the way. You must always have it for a Total Soup trade. The highest probability of a Total Soup trade happening at CBDR. Then once you have a CBDR there, once you hit the negative 2.5, which we're currently inside this range, you can have a 10 pip stop loss, which is safe stop loss. You can enter at the high. You can eventually need the 3-drive pattern to be there as well. And eventually you short it down. Will the 3-drive pattern happen every time? No, but it's really high probability, and this is how you can literally snipe it down. And your RR is going to be a fixed RR. You can go target the low, but since you could take out this low, if I'd rather say go for a fixed RR because market may not tap this, right? If it doesn't tap it right now, you didn't tap it, but right. Since the market didn't tap this, the market right now currently did not even tap it. Just if you were to hold a trade all the way down there, you would have been stopped out. So you're going for a fixed RR. The fixed RR is between 5 RR. The RR on this is 5 RR. Keep that in mind, right? Because usually the Total Soup entry, you're not waiting for a confirmation. So you're going for a 10 pip. You're going for a 5 RR trade here. So now this is the number one way to trade it. The next way of a Total Soup entry is the rejection block entry. So now you can see it plays out. Entry there. Market eventually did not fuck around and find out. It hit you, take profit. Boom. Now let me show you guys some more examples of what I mean the Total Soup entry before we go into the rejection block Total Soup entry. All right, the next entry would be right over here. I could use my senses here. It would be pretty sure, go up a little higher, right around here. This is another Total Soup entry. So all you're doing, marking this out. I low-key don't fuck with the color, I ain't gonna lie to you, and put it 50. Coloring is too dark here, pissing my eyes off. 1 second, Total Soup. Right over here, we have the Total Soup. I mean, this is not a Total Soup, but this is the 1 AM high. This is the near continuation right over here. So for a Total Soup like this, what you're doing is this is the 8 AM CRT high, and this is the 5 AM CRT high. You're looking for a near continuation. Over here, what happened was you can see this is another 3-drive pattern here. This candle right over here did not have a legit high. So the 5 AM candle high did not have a legit high because it didn't close the bullish bearish candle. It just closed in a bullish candle, which is not a valid high. So you're looking for a high to get purged. Then you're looking for a valid high to get formed. So high gets purged. We have not a valid high. A valid high did not get formed. So we're looking for this high to get repurged. So this is where people are selling number 1. What do you call it? What is the drive number 1? This is a ICT drive. This is the ICT 3-drive pattern, right? Drive number 1. So market is, sellers sold over here. They sold against once here. They got stopped out once again. It sold once again over here. They got stopped once again. Eventually, they went lower to the downside. Now you can see the valid high here. There was no valid high in the 5 AM safety high. So you're looking for a high to get pressed. You're looking for a valid high to get formed. So a valid high did not get formed here. So looking at how to get repursed. Now we're looking for a valid high to get formed here. Valid high did get formed because it's a bullish bearish candle after purchase high. So now we're looking for this high to get repursed. Then you're shorted down. So now this high gets repursed. But if you had a short entry here, you're gonna go into loss here. 10 pip stop loss. Although you could say, well, yeah, 10 pip stop loss, but market never stopped. Yeah, I could have just entered here. It's all about position, right? It's all about position. So now market left the legit high. So now looking for the legit high to get purged. This is the only time you're looking to get total soup entry is usually always with a 3 drive. The best ones I find, because I have a 3 drive rule. I have a 3 drive rule where I must have a valid high, valid low. If I don't have it, I'm looking for a 3 drive pattern. Which if I have a rule, I know what I'm doing here, right? Because I have literally all of my mentees know this, right? They all know, okay, this is, you need this shit. So right over here, we have a total soup. So now we have a valid high. The valid high got total soup right over here. Although this did hit 12 p.m., you could relatively still take a trade, but it will be kind of riskier because the kills will ended. But it's all that this depends on you if you want to take a trade here or not. So now all you're doing is looking to trade just a little bit above it. I just let it go a little bit above it somewhere here. Don't measure it too far because when you soups, you need to go above it or below it a little bit, so you can take out more sellers or buyers. Then eventually have your stop loss. You enter here, just go push it a little bit above it where you can have a better entry. You put your stop loss at 10 pips. And eventually your take profit would be a 5 RR fixed RR here. 5 fixed RR take profit. So now you enter there, take profit here. Probably wondering, whoa. Yes, it's this simple. But the best ones, like I said, I'll read the tweet once again. The best one to find is at the let me go and get a quote here. The best highs probably one will be formed at the very obvious high and low, which is the 3 drive pattern as well. And let me get it right over here. At the 3 drive pattern, right? So number 1 is going to be a 3 drive pattern. So fake double top, then 3rd drive. Eventually within the kill zone and occur at the distribution phase of accumulation, manipulation, expansion, as well as the previous week high, previous week low. For the previous week high, previous week low, you can have it there, but you need to have these with it, right? And eventually for the standard deviation on this specific day, it was not here, by the way. So if you go back here, standard deviation was not here on this day. So if this is the day high. So the standard deviation on this day was not there. So on this case, because usually for a total soup, you want to go first open, high, low, close. Eventually at high, you will have a total soup. In this case, it's not like that. So you're avoiding this. You're gonna avoid this. Whatever this shit's called. You're gonna avoid the standard deviation in this case because market never met the high first. Eventually, now you sort it down. The total soup entry. Boom, you short that shit down. Eventually, market hits to take profit with a positive 5 RR. Usually for a total soup, you must always go 5 RR. You must have a fixed 5 RR always, right? So because market goes, if you're wrong, market go back up down, go back right back up high to stop you out. So you want to go for a fixed RR. You do not want to go for the where the market wants to go. So if the market wants to go down here, you're gonna have a trade to go down there. You're gonna have another total soup entry to go down there, as well as if you go back here, I can let you show you guys more examples. If I have an example here, let me see. I'm pretty sure it should definitely be an example here as well. This is 17 o'clock high. There was a legit high here. 5:30 a.m. Purchase it out. In this case, there would have been no total soup entry because the soup of this candle have the wrong time. But if you go back higher than this, it should definitely be another entry here. 10 a.m., 5 a.m. Let me see. It should have definitely been, if I go back here, because I know there should have definitely be some sort of trade here. 1 a.m. to 21 o'clock. This is the 1 a.m. CRT. I want to show you guys in the New York session because I trade New York session. I don't trade anything else in New York. Right over here. We're overall bearish because of the higher time order flow. Now, if we go to lower time frame, we do have a legit high here. Boom. 5 a.m. pushes out, so the person have the wrong time. You know, they must always happen between a specific time. There's a total soup right over here. Pretty sure. No total soups. Okay, let me go hunt for total soups here because I'm not obviously I could be like, okay, total soup here. I'm trying to find the ones that make sense here, right? The ones that I actually saw happen. I want to go to the one that had a 3-drive pattern total soup. Usually that's what the best ones, right? Everything else you get you short this shit down, you get stopped again, right? So let me get the best total soup entries here for you guys. Where would be at? But I had any other time where I had a 2-drive pattern. Let's see. So I want to show you guys one more example of this. The 3-drive pattern here. It would have been back here possibly. Was it here? Possibly not. I don't think so. It was over there. No. I use my senses to know where the market did a total soup. Low, man, low here. This is not a total soup entry here. It would be, I think over here should have been it, right? Tuesday. I think it should have been it, right? This one. I don't think so. It's gonna be it, but the 5 a.m. high doesn't have legit high, possibly, right? So 5 a.m. high does not have a legit high here. So 5 a.m. high gets first. Yeah, this one did never project the 5 a.m. high here. No lower. Or actually, if you go to the 4 a.m. 1 a.m. itself, the 1 a.m. should be there, right? In this case, you're looking for a New York reversal. Okay, 1 a.m. We had a legit high here. Market up. Market never goes to amount of 1 here. Boom, goes lower. Because this high needs to be a 3-drive, right? So in this case, if you're looking for a 3-drive, you would have not found it here. There would have been no 3-drive pattern here because you're gonna get stopped out constantly here. Be sure this shit down over from here, from this high, you would have been stopped out because market hit your stop loss. So usually you wanna go and see this high not be a legit high, then look for a total soup here. Now, I can't find the examples, but if I find a real life data market, I will show you guys to you guys. I'll literally take the trade for you guys, right? But the most recent one happened on this Monday. This beautiful total soup to the downside. And the next, I think this should be another example right over here, right? Let me go to the 4 1 8. Let me go to the edition high here. We had a legit high there. Okay, we did have a legit high here. So in this case, you would have not looked for no 3-drive pattern here because there's a legit high on the candle. Let's see if there's going to be a 3-drive pattern here. Nope, not over here as well. There's a legit high on this candle, so you can't look for a 3-drive because you see this is a legit high. Price gets purged. Eventually, market repurchases this high, and eventually, if you let's just say this short is down, you're not gonna have that that 5-hour buffer. See, so we need to this high needs to be a fake high here, so you can have the 3-drive pattern, just like this fake high. High got formed, market did another high formed as well to sweep it out, and as well as a standard deviation. In this case, you do need to have the standard deviation there for the best ones, and in this case, on this one right over here, it had a standard deviation was the high side of this candle. Go to the 4-hour time frame. Like I said, -1 did tap, so the -1 could definitely have a reversal here. See, even the negative that didn't even make the high here. Much discounted them at the high. So there was no those hurdles up there. But now, enough of that. Now I'm showing you guys the rejection block turtle soup, which today our boss was wrong. We did have two turtle soup entries here. We had a rejection block turtle soup entry right over here. So let's say for the rejection block turtle soup entry, you must have two things here. You must have a stubborn wick, and you must have a long wick, as well as you must have the Marwan confirmation. And you also have Narco narrative content, everything like that as well. So this is only for execution. Yeah, you have it. You have the turtle soup here. Enter, stop loss, take profit. In this case, my bias, I fucked up with my rule. I fucked around and found out, and eventually there's a 4 CRT play here, not the idle CRT. So, but for the 15 time frame, there was a turtle soup entry here as well. Turtle soup entry. How is the turtle soup entry here? Because market first did what? Souped out a market gave us the Marwan confirmation, gave us a right one. Market, this is a stubborn wick. Market tapped it. Eventually, once tapped the stubborn wick, you could put an entry there. You could do two things here with the rejection block turtle soup. You could put your stop loss at just at the rejection block low. Why? And what's the reasoning? Because a rejection block turtle soup, that means it can't take the wick out. It's just a rejection block. It's not a sweep. It's just a rejection block soup. So your stop loss being right over here is a good safe stop loss. You're going for a 5 RR here. Which this one would have been risky because this auto block did not have the right time. But you could have definitely taken out of this if you're a trader who's, doesn't give a shit and who cares about taking a trade. Because everybody's different, right? People could take this as a people usually count this as a high probability setup because there was a mod 1 there. It showed a great sign here. This was as well as a fucking OTE here. We had a high, low, which we had a higher high here. So we had basically had a high, low. We had a fucking low, high. The lower low had a total SMT. Eventually we had eventually the higher high here, closing above this, and eventually what we're looking for, once we close above that, we're looking to go all over here, and we're looking for the OTE. So the OTE was a negative 0.886. Tab take right over here with the rejection block entry, so you can have long that rejection block to the upside and rode that wave or to this high or just for a 5 fixed RR because you're entering on the rejection block entry. And usually at the rejection block towards the entry, you want to go for a 5 RR minimum. Because usually your stop loss is more tighter, so you can have more RR. And now let me show you guys more examples from last week. Another example would be this high. If you're primarily a turtle soup trader, you could have taken this short. We had a OTE, as well as we had, how is the turtle soup? Because of the right Marwan 1, we had with the wrong one at the right time. Eventually could have taken the turtle soup and shorted that shit down. And I feel like, to me, the best turtle soups are the rejection block with the right Marwan 1. If you will miss a lot of setups, you will miss, like, not a lot of setups, you will miss often than not. But it will give you guys good setup, good RR here. So you can enter that, put a stop loss with a fucking negative for a 5 RR. You could have gone for, or a fucking, arm. But the minimum for a turtle soup trade is usually a 5 RR. That's all. That's just all you want to go for. You do not want to go for the low. If you go for the low here or go for these lows, you will get fucked up over the long term because you could take this trade to the downside. I guess so you can have another trade, take it to the downside as well. And another turtle soup model will be right over here. Hit the right Marwan 1. This is the rejection block turtle soup. Usually, more often than not, market will soup up the body instead of the wick because the body is imbalanced. In the lower time frame, if you go over here, there is fucking a lot of this higher time is a balance. Lower time frame is a lot of liquidity here. Actually, the lower time is a lot of liquidity here to be filled, and this is the lower time frame turtle soup. Like I said, there's a turtle soup right over here. Market sweeping out the size and shit on that fucking candle. So lower time frame total soup, higher time frame, fucking lower time frame total soup, higher time frame imbalance. So this is considered to be a total soup as well, because imbalance, eventually you start getting a 5RR. Again, boom, you target that shit down. And to me personally, what are the best total soups? Is it the 3-drive pattern or the marble 1 rejection block total soup? To me, it has to be the rejection block total soup entry. That right there gives you a fixed stop loss. It gives you a 5RR and it's less risky. So now, because for the fucking for the high and that for the high and low, that a 3-drive pattern one, that one you don't know your stop loss. You gotta put a 10 pip stop loss or a 20 pip stop loss. You don't know your actual stop loss. So this one gives you a predetermined stop loss, which is rejection block high, and eventually gives you a predetermined take profit, which is a fixed 5RR. So this is one of the best ways you can take a total soup entry. I could show you guys more examples. Right over here is another example right over here today. And you can see this was paired up with the OTE. And one of the best, as LTE is the same thing as standard deviation. OTE is a deep retracement. The 0.86 marks is aligned with the total soup. So just take the total soup entry and go for a 5RR. Then that's it. Same thing with this. Now with this one, if you were to wait for the rejection block total soup, you would have not been in the trade here. How come? Because you can see market type your entry. You would have not been in the trade. Market would have just left you out without waiting for you. But if you would just take the Mar 1 itself, you would have definitely had an entry for a 3RR and you would have made profit out of this. If you just take the 3-drive pattern one, you could have taken it, but it's usually on the higher end risk. But the best ones are the rejection block total soup entries. This is a full course guide. Thank you for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share, notifications down below. And I see you guys on Discord. Peace out.